Okay, hello. This is our last guided, lesson. I'm trying to control this thing. Okay, so this is your practice for this week, the guided one. Okay, so you see 4 triangles. That's what we're going to be working on. And we're going to use the sine and the cosine. So on our previous assignment, we practiced the ratios. Okay, so now we're going to use the sine. I'm going to write over here the sine and the cosine. It says so right there in the instruction, the sine and the cosine to find missing sides of a triangle. Alright, so I'm going to begin by writing our SOHCAHTOA mnemonic. Okay, like so. The first exercise is a triangle. If you see, they're only giving us the names of the sides or the measures. This one, I forgot, this is a right triangle, of course. We don't have the names of the angles, but we do have this measure of this angle right here. And they're asking us to find the missing side, okay? The missing sides, the value of each variable. So we need to find the value of A and the value of B. You have the hypotenuse here. You have the value of the hypotenuse. And you have an angle. That's all you have. So that's what we're going to begin doing. We're going to label. This one we know is the hypotenuse. Now, since this is the only angle that they're giving us, okay, they're not giving us a letter like angle A, or angle P, or angle N. They're giving us instead a value. This angle right here measures 50 degrees. So we can decide either to use the sine or the cosine to find either A or B. Let's say we want to go with the alphabet and we want to solve for A. Okay, so you're gonna have to decide and define first this side right here in relation to this angle. What side is it? We already labeled the hypotenuse, but in relation to this angle, this side, how would we call it? We can only call it adjacent or opposite. So what do you think it is? It's right next to it, so this one is adjacent. So this is what you do. You have adjacent and you have hypotenuse. So I'm going to underline the A and the H. So which of these has the A and the H? A and H. It's the cosine. Okay, so over here, let me zoom out a little bit so we can see it all together. We have the adjacent and we have the hypotenuse. So we go over here to our cue, to our clue, to our mnemonic, SOHCAHTOA, and we see that this one right here is the one that has the A for adjacent and the H for hypotenuse. So it means that we're going to use the cosine. So I'm going to write down over here. Cosine of what? Cosine of 50 degrees. Cosine of 50 degrees equals what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. And the adjacent is A over the hypotenuse that measures 10. Okay, we already did this similar when we were doing tangent. This number right here, or this expression right here, is going to give you a number. All right, we need to find the cosine of 50 degrees, which is a number because it's the answer to a ratio. So you have the calculator, the one that I showed you on the computer. So you can use that one, or you can Google it. In my case, I have this calculator right here. If you have a calculator like this, just make sure that your calculator is in degrees. I don't know if you can see it right here. It has the D for degrees. If it's in radians, you have to change the mode. All right, so make sure it's in degrees. Okay, all right, so I'm going to find the cosine of 50 degrees, and I have the cosine right here. Cosine, you see it? I'm going to type it, cosine of 50 degrees, and it gives me 0.6427. So this number right here is 0.6427, and this equals a over 10. So remember, this is a letter. It looks like a 9, but it's not. It's letter A. So we need to solve for A. I'm going to highlight now in yellow the A because we're solving for A. So how do we get rid of the 10 that is dividing? If it's dividing, it means that you multiply by 10. But if you multiply here, you also multiply over here. Let me zoom. You multiply both sides. You multiply here and you multiply here. This one divides out with this one because everything becomes a 1, and you have the A. So I'm going to put A equals 10 times 0.6427. So A equals, I'm going to put it in the calculator, 10 times 0.6427, and it gives me 6.42. A equals 6.42. All right, so now that we found A, I'm going to write it over here, 6.42. This was the answer. We still need to find the value of B. B right here, this one. All right, since you already have the leg and the hypotenuse, you can do either two things. You can go for the Pythagorean theorem, or you can use the sine because this side is the opposite. So just to make it quick and fast, I'm going to go for the Pythagorean theorem because we have a right triangle, so we can use it. So I'm going to write the Pythagorean theorem, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. And remember, I told you that this one, we were going to be using it all the time. So this is a good example. So what is the value of c? We're going to substitute what we have. We have the value of c right here. We have the value of a, this one right here, and we're looking for b. So c equals 10. 10 goes squared. The a is 6.42. I'm going to square it, plus b squared. Okay? So 10 squared is 100. 6.42 squared